Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/usingyourpower. With over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, and MP3 player.
Welcome to Using Your Power. I'm David Andrew Wiebe, and I'm joined by
Maveen, Kaura.
How's it going, Maveen?
I'm killing it, man. I'm really feeling good today.
Great. I'm powered up too, man. What are we talking about?
Today we are going to be talking about how to become consistent while working towards your goals.
Yeah, I guess we all could be a little more consistent than we are in this regard, right? Unless we already have a really great routine and we're super disciplined, we could all do a little bit better in this area.
Absolutely, and even if you are super consistent and in a routine, you could always look for different ways to find, ways to be more consistent, or ways to kind of cut out stuff that's really not working, or ways to make things better. So that's kind of the idea of today's show.
I like it. Here's a quick little hack that seems to work with people, and it's the idea of committing to 5 minutes per day. And what's interesting about this is most of us kind of loathe the idea of sitting down to do the thing. Like, we might be excited about it at first, but then you lose enthusiasm for it gradually until it kind of climbs back up. And that's really normal, and it's important to be aware of that cycle. Here's what happens. If you trick yourself into it, oh yeah, I'm just going to go and work on it for 5 minutes. That's not a big commitment. You're like, yeah, no big deal. I can do that. What you'll usually find is you end up doing a lot more than you thought you would in the first place. That's why it's a good mental hack. So that 5 minutes quickly turns into 10, 15, 20, 30. And as you gain momentum, you go, oh, I'm feeling good. Maybe I'll just keep going.
Right. So the idea is to help you from procrastinating, is my guess here.
Yeah. It works with business owners too. I mean, it's an idea that I've shared with them, and they're like, should I do anything? And I'm like, or should I do anything? I'm not totally motivated. And I'm like, well, just do it for 5 minutes and see where that takes you.
Right on. So, one of the things I was thinking about is if you want to be consistent while you're working towards your goals, there's a couple things you may need to do, such as one, developing a daily system. So we've talked about that before. Yeah. Figure out exactly what is that needs to be done. Put it on a schedule, and then just start following that schedule every single day. With a regiment, right? And just keep doing it. And if things aren't working, like we said at the start here, weed it out. That's not what's not working. Keep adding things in there. And once you find, the ball starting to roll, keep doing the exact same thing, and you will find results, positive and or negative. And if they're positive results, keep working on them. If they're negative results, or results that you're not hoping to get, find ways to maybe fine tune it, and then continue to keep going through, right? I know we've done that on the Music Entrepreneur as well as Discover Your Life Today as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. I think another great thing is to get your friends hold you accountable, which is totally related to what you were just saying. Work with them to achieve your goals, hopefully in a collaborative or team environment if possible. If not, then just do some kind of loose mastermind like we've done for many years now, or a couple of years now. Just get together, talk about your projects. What are you struggling right now? What would you like to be doing better? What's not working? What is working? What are your next steps? And then commit to those next steps. And then if you make that a weekly or bi-weekly or even monthly gathering, or just a Skype call, you'll get on there, and then you'll have to be accountable to those people. They're going to ask you, did you do what you said you were going to do? And if you say no too many times, you're going to feel bad. So you're just going to start saying yes, and you're going to do it.
Yeah, or those people that you're supposed to be part of that mastermind group may ask you to leave that group, or if you got a mentor, for example, that person may say, you know what, you're not worth my time to mentor right now because you're not really following the plan that we've set out.
Yeah, that could totally happen too. So yeah, watch out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things that you can also do is if you want to be consistent on working towards your goals, you should also continually look for new people to network with. There's so many different people out there that have so much more information or different information than you do. So, keep trying to find the right people to network with, because when you find the right person, like as myself and David have here, we found something that kind of works for this show. We found something that works for our two separate websites as well. And because we're working together, we're also looking to network with other people as well. So, we've gone to different networking events, some within our
particular niche or space.
Yeah, exactly, and some really outside of our niche and space. So, whatever works, we kind of do it, and we've had the opportunity to maybe say, even if we go to places that are not that are outside of our niche, I should say, sorry, we've still kind of looked for ways, is there a way we can network with these people on maybe a separate business venture down the road? Obviously we're trying to grow a marketing company potentially here, so we're going to maybe try to stick more in the marketing right now. But I mean, it's a great idea is to look for people outside of what you already know.
Yeah, and like two people can promote each other's content, which is what we're doing more and more of these days. We'll share each other's content on social media, and we're linking to each other and things like that. But imagine the possibilities if 10 people were doing that, 20 people were doing that, 30 people were doing that. That's your mastermind. That's your group. That's your collaborative, community that's helping you, assist you, and take you to the next level in your business all together. You're working together to make it happen. So that's what can happen when you begin networking and finding others to collaborate with. I think it's important for some people, maybe not for everybody. It depends what motivates you, but some people might find value in considering the cost of not achieving their goals to help motivate them. I mean, for example, weight loss is a common one that comes up, and I think this is something we learned a little bit from network marketing as well. But the cost of not losing 40 pounds may be that you'll have a heart attack within a year. That's a pretty strong motivator, but also think about what else you would lose. Could you lose your relationship? Could you lose your job? Would you be unable to work if you had a heart attack? How much is the hospital bill going to cost? So it's about thinking about the deeper implications. I mean, I don't want to be morbid. I'm just saying for some people, the negative motivates them more than the positive.
I like that idea, right? Take a reality check, get a real reality check. You're right. Weight is usually the biggest one for a lot of people. Everybody wants to lose some sort of weight, right? I mean, you're right. There's so many different health implications: diabetes, heart attack, strokes, whatever. All these different things can happen, high cholesterol and whatnot. And you're right. Sometimes looking at the negative, because it does suck to work out. It's it sucks to have to get up in the morning and go to do cardio, especially when you're first starting off. But again, when you're building that consistency and have a goal of lowering, say, your sugar or lowering your cholesterol, whatever, as you become consistent on getting up and running maybe 5 minutes today, and then running maybe 8 minutes the next day, and then 10 minutes the next day after, and just increasing that time over time, you start building that habit, and that habit starts building a consistent effort that you're putting into, and then you will potentially lose that weight or go to school and get that degree, whatever it is that you're working towards. It does take effort, and it is always hard at the start, like you said, but in the end you can achieve it for sure.
You got it.
So, one of the things I was thinking about, just like you were saying too, and I really liked your idea, it really flows really well, is think outside the box, right? Most people focus only on the positive, which is what you were saying, but think on the negative sometimes, right? And that can definitely motivate you as well, right? And one of the things we have to keep in mind, the world is going to continually change. So as the world keeps changing, we have to keep up with that. And we have to consistently keep learning on how the world is changing and how that change can impact us towards our goals and achieving those goals.
No, that's really good. And I think another thing to try here is to just work towards your goals every day for 90 days. Try it as a 90-day experiment. I think Steve Pavlina did those 30-day experiment type things and posted the results and blogged about them every day. Hold yourself to a similar standard, right? If you have a blog, then people are counting on you to publish that content every single day, or at least that should be your mindset, even if people aren't reading it. Because over that course of that 30 days, if you're posting something really interesting and you find something valuable through your experiment, people will start reading you and following you and want to do that. So that's just about the habit building exercise. And another reason that's important is because all these other things about 21 days or 6 weeks or whatever may not be enough. For some people, you try it, you go like, yeah, I have the habit now, but do you really? Are you doing it by default without even thinking about it? Because that's what conscious competence or unconscious competence means, is you just do it anyway because now it's habit. So that's an exercise to help you build a real habit. In 90 days, you should have built it.
Well, absolutely. One of the things I would suggest too is, if you're not already doing this, is to have a more positive attitude as well as have a more positive speech as well. I think when you have a positive attitude and speech, you also then start having more positive energy around yourself, and that can lead to being more consistent while you're working. Right? If you're negative on what you have to get done, and all saying, "Oh man, not again! I got to do this. I got to work out again." Right? And if you're being negative about it, you're not gonna want to do it. But if you're like, "Hey man, I got to to work out today. This is going to be awesome. I'm going to sweat. I'm going to be able to get my six pack or whatever you're working towards, whatever your goal is, and keeping that in your forefront, but really talking positive about it. You'll actually want to do it. You'll increase your energy and your own endorphins within yourself and your own body, and it'll cause you to want to go out and start making those changes, and it'll actually get you to start thinking different.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, based on this next point, I would suggest going back and having a listen to our podcast on outside the box thinking.
And then that's episode 26.
Yeah, there you go. Great. Here's what I want to suggest is to do it anyway. A lot of people kind of get stuck on this whole mindset thing. They're like, well, I didn't get started on my goals last year because I didn't have enough money and I didn't have enough time and people didn't leave me alone. That's your problem. You have to solve that. Nobody else is going to solve that for you. So if you don't think you have the time or resources, make the time and you work with the resources you've got, because it's not going to get any better if you just wait around. So I had to learn that myself too. I was like, I had the same excuses. I said, I don't have the time and I don't have the resources to do it. Sorry, it's not about money. It's about starting where you are.
Absolutely. One of the things that I actually started learning that a little while ago again, and not that I didn't know it already, I just actually maybe started applying it better. I started to bulk all the things that I've started doing, right? So now it's actually freed up my schedule as saying, I can actually work out every morning at this time, or I can now also meditate at this time as well after I maybe shower or whatnot. But it at least starts building a system for me and allows me to know that I can have a consistent schedule and I can keep working it, right? And I keep working it and keep doing the same thing again and again, and I'm only going to get better at it. Now it's going to be a habit that I've built, and then I'm not thinking about it anymore. It's just who I've become, right? And I think that's what we want you to do out there that's listening is, figure out who you want to be and then work on that consistently to become what you want.
Yeah. Michael had that post about that ideal week. I mean, that's initially how I began setting up mine and thinking about mine and what that would look like. And I saw yours, Mav, and I like that too, kind of how you've bulked it, not just reading consistently every day, but saying, here's my 5 hours for doing that on a particular day. So I get all my learning and reading and stuff in to take and apply that information. I mean, that's just as, possible or something that's doable for some people is to bulk it, right? Not try to do it every day, but it's still about that consistency. So weekly is still consistent.
Absolutely. I know it's probably better for me to read 15 or maybe 20 minutes a day. I get it. I get the idea of building a habit, but I understand, not everybody has the schedule or the time in their schedule to read 15 minutes a day. I get it. So I said, on Sundays, I could probably, I could turn off the TV for a little bit, maybe 1 hour and a half or whatever it is, and just read for an hour and a half. It's easy for me to do because now I don't really have anything left, because I've usually been able to finish everything I need to do on a Saturday and schedule Sundays to be my kind of relaxed day with my wife. And we do those things where we can just kind of read and focus on maybe the things that we weren't able to get done during the week and maybe just really get those things done, right? So just being able to bulk those has worked for us, And one of the things I wanted to say is, one of the things that we can do to be more consistent is start building our own willpower. It is saying yes to ourselves and saying no to other things, because there's a lot of things that are fighting for our attention, that are trying to take us off the consistency path. So build your own willpower, understand what your goal is, and as you're building that willpower to saying yes to yourself, keep speaking positive, keep that positive attitude, and then keep understanding what needs to be done and keep doing that.
Yeah, making conscious choices about what you're choosing to include in your life, and then also making conscious choices about what not to include in your life. It's sort of like having that to-do list and having a not to-do list.
That's correct. Exactly.
That's great. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts on this is, if you're not consistent, find somebody to maybe work with that can help you be consistent. That's the idea of having a gym partner. I know we were talking about working out earlier, and weights and body weight. So if you can find somebody to work with, I think they can keep you on track. You'll keep them on track as well. And again, it's nice to always work with other people because, everybody's working for the same goal or towards the same goal, but maybe their own personal goal. Other than that, I got nothing else to say. I think we've really covered this very well.
Yeah, I think it's just important to prioritize. Think about when you have the energy to do it or where you could potentially fit it into your day and try to plan around that so that you can stay consistent. Do it in the same time, same place if that's something that helps you, and have your desk ready to go for when you're going to sit down and do it. And those are some things to think about when you're trying to set yourself up to be able to accomplish those goals every single time.
Absolutely, and clean the clutter off your desk or clean the clutter in the area that you're working in. That also helps as well. We've talked about that in previous episodes again.
Definitely. All right. Well, you can find us online at usingyourpower.com. You can leave us a message or a comment while you're there. You can also download our free audio course and YouTube or elsewhere, Stitcher. Feel free to leave a rating on iTunes or a comment, and we'd love to hear what you have to say.
Have a great day.